friends, and thank you as always for visiting the Legend Sports Universe YouTube channel, Legend Sports Universe, where legends play forever. The Chicago Cubs' shocking and dramatic run through the FSBL playoffs in Year 4 could end tonight at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs will look to prevent the Boston Red Sox from celebrating a championship on their home field in Game 5. The Cubs have batted .170 over the 3 straight losses in this series and now will try to get out of the funk against Red Sox ace Pedro Martinez, who struggled early in Game 1 and was pulled as he had righted the ship in a hotly debated decision. Boston then elected not to bring Pedro back on short rest for Game 4, electing to save him for full rest in Game 5, a move that proved brilliant as Joe Wood came up strong in the Game 4 win. Now it's a fully rested Martinez looking to pitch the Red Sox to their first championship, and Bill Hands, who has been so key for this Cubs run, trying to send the series back to Boston for Game 6. Do the Sox take the title tonight, or the Cubs have fight left in them after all? We'll find out here from Wrigley. There you see Bill Hands, 2-2, 2.36 in the postseason. Greatly appreciate you tuning in to join me here on what I hope has been a happy 4th of July for all of you. Dwayne, Marks, Carlos, Yaz here in the ballpark. Good to see you, fellas. Hope you have enjoyed your holiday and will enjoy the weekend ahead. First pitch from Hands is a strike as we get underway here at Wrigley. Fastball from Hands on the outside corner. He's ahead of Ellsbury 0-2. Ellsbury batting .289 so far in the postseason. Hands delivers. Curveball just inside. Cubs trying to change their luck, change their uniforms from the 1982 home model going back to 1929. With the uni selection today, just something to try to change what has gone on for the last 3 games for Chicago. One misses, it's 2-2 here for Hands. Fastball there, two-seamer, fouled off by Ellsbury. Machado hits bomb, Smokey Joe, World Series MVP. Well, I don't know about that, but he did come through big for them in last night's ball game. Ground ball to second. Barney dives and knocks it down, but that's all he can do. It's an infield single for Jacoby Ellsbury to get things started here for Boston in Game 5. Here's Mookie Betts. Betts had the big 3-run homer in Game 4. Betts has only hit .215 in this postseason, but he still leads all playoff competitors with 12 RBIs in the playoffs. It's been an odd postseason for Betts. And starts him off with strike 1. Slider there off the plate. 1-1 the count. Ted Williams waits on deck. Pitching hasn't been the issue here for the Cubs. Their bats have just gone collectively cold. And 170 over the 3 losses here in the series after taking Game 1. Two and 1 the count as Hands works the Betts. Fastball rides inside. It's 3-1. Here you see Williams in the on-deck circle. And steal. Betts pulls it hard. That's going to be a base hit. Getting over his path go. He cuts it off nicely. Ellsbury will hold at second. But the Red Sox have the first 2 men on here in the top of the first. Certainly not the start Hands would have drawn up. Here's Williams. Williams banged .262 in the postseason. Curveball there. Ground ball to the middle. Base hit for Ted Williams. Ellsbury comes around third. He is going to score. Betts goes to third. 3 straight base runners for the Red Sox. to get things started. 3 straight hits and an RBI single from Ted Williams has the Red Sox up 1-0 here in Game 5. And, of course, going on 3 days rest here, trying to keep the season alive. Here's Reggie Smith. Smith batting only 186. Sox would love a crooked number here in the opening frame. Hands from the set, delivers. Two-seamer misses down low. It's 1-1. Fly ball out to left. Smith hits this one well. Path goes going back on the track at the wall. It's out of here. 3-run homer, Reggie Smith. And the Red Sox have started Game 5. 4 batters, 4 runs, 4-0 Red Sox. And the crowd here at Wrigley has had the balloon pop in a hurry. Reggie Smith, opposite field, fastball on the outside corner. He goes with it, and it finds the seats in left. A high fly ball from Smith into the seats. Well, Wayne's saying fire up the bullpen. I think he said that before that home run. Certainly seems like something they might have to consider now. Here's Jimmy Collins. Collins batting .316. Curved ball from Hand, swung on and missed. One slider down and away. It's 2-1. Curved ball misses down low. 3-1. Bobby Doerr waits on deck. Fastball is in for a called strike, and the count goes full. Ground ball to second. Barney has it. Throws to first, and there's one away. So 6 batters in. We'll finally get to the lineup. It's been a lightning bolt here for the Sox in the first. Ellsbury, Betts, and Williams. Smith, Collins, and Doerr. Freeman, Valentin, and Farrell. The lineup for your Red Sox here. Trotting out the same lineup they've run out the past couple days. No reason to mess with success. Here's Bobby Doerr. Doerr batting .262. 2 homers, 6 RBIs for Bobby this postseason. Fly ball to center. Lang is underneath it. Puts it away for out number 2. The Red Sox looking to become the first wild card team to win a championship here in the FSBL. Buck Freeman steps in. Freeman batting .214, 2 homers, 4 RBIs in the playoffs. Hands delivery. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. That one just inside. 1-1 the count. Fastball is in, and the count goes to 1-2. 26 pitches so far in this opening inning for Bill Hands. Rocks and fires. Fastball misses down low. 2-2 the count to Freeman. Smack on the ground into the shift. Santo bounces a throw to first, but Cavaretta dinks it out, and the side is retired. But the Red Sox strike for 4 in the opening frame. The 3-run homer from Reggie Smith. the big blow. We head to the bottom of the first, Game 5. The Cubs step in against Pedro, trailing 4-0. Martinez finishing up the warm-ups. Again, I don't know what is happening in this series where the away pitcher, his stats aren't popping up. I apologize for that. We'll fire whoever's in the truck. Bill Lang will open things up. Here for the Cubs as they try to start a climb back in the game and the series. Circle change from Pedro, misses outside for ball 1. Wayne says, turn out the lights. That was put in to help them win the World Series. I don't think the Cubs are going to roll over, but the way the bats have been right now, asking them to come back from 4 down against Pedro. A tall order. Circle change, misses down and away. Martinez deals, Lang swings and misses, and the count goes to 2-2. Martinez fires. Circle change, fouled off by Lang. Breaking ball, smack to second, Door has it, throws to first, there's one away.
Batting second, the designated hitter.
Your Cubs lineup, Lang, Hack, and Santo, Nicholson, Hartnett, and Tafko, Cavaretta, Dallin, and Darwin Barney. The Cubs average now down to 236 in the postseason. Seeing that figure in the 170 over the last 3 games with a 4-0 deficit from the jump. Not an optimal script for the Cubbies. Stan Hack batting .271, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. Martinez delivers. Fastball, Hack tries to hold up. Fails to do so, and the count is 1-1. Pedro deals. Fastball, borderline, doesn't get the lowest strike, and it's 2-1. Circle change, down low, 3-1. Ron Santo, the one bat that has been hot for the Cubs, waits on deck. Martinez deals, misses up high for ball 4, so it's a 1-out walk for Stan Hack. And that'll bring up Santo. Santo hit a 2-run shot in Game 4, tried to answer the 3-run homer from Mookie Betts. Problem for the Cubs was Santo's 2-run jack were the only runs they got. 345, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, in what has been a terrific postseason for the Cubs third baseman. Cubs would love for him to come through here. Fastball from Pedro on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Checks the runner. Delivers. Circle change is in, and the count goes to 1-2. Throw over. Hack dives back in. One-two offering from Martinez. Circle change, misses down and in. Pedro deals again. Santo pulls it foul. Two and two. Ground ball up the middle. Ranging to his left. Nice play, Valentin. Pedro onto first. Santo beats it out, avoids the double play. They get the lead runner. And oh boy, this is not good for the Cubs. Stan Hack is hunched over at second base. And Stan Hack is going to come out of this ball game. It appears to be a back injury. And Stan Hack is going to have to come out here in Game 5 for the Cubs. Things go from bad to worse for Chicago.
Batting fourth.
That'll bring up Bill Nicholson.
Number 43.
Nicholson batting .208. Circle change, swung on and missed. After Santo, Hack has probably been the best bat for the Cubs. Stan Hack leaving this game with injury. Just terrible, terrible news for the Cubbies. Down the right field line, it hits the chalk and bounces into the seats. So a ground rule double for Nicholson. So the Cubs trying to get something going here in the opening frame. That one hits off the outside edge of the chalk. That almost looked like a foul ball to me. Let's go and check that. That is barely fair. Pop down the right field line. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Right on the outer edge of the chalk. So now, the Cubs have second and third, 2 outs. Here's Gabby Hartnett. Crowd starting to come alive a little bit, hoping that the Cubs can get some of the runs back here in this first inning. Hartnett, only 3 RBIs in the postseason. He's batting .240. Carlos wants him to bunt every at bat. That's ball in for a called strike. 1-1 the count. His deals. Hartnett turns it sky to left, hooking towards the wall. Williams is there, puts it away, and the side is retired. So the Cubs strand runners on second and third, something they could ill afford. Down 4. We head to the second here in Game 5. It's 4-0 Red Sox. Here's John Valentin. Valentin batting .261, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. So you'll see, I mean, his average is better than Betts's. But we talked about, Betts with that .215 mark and 12 RBIs leading everybody here in the postseason. Valentin at .261 has 10 RBIs, which is second. So the Sox have just made their hits count. Dwayne says Ron's stats compared with Mookie's tells the story of this World Series. One batting 200, driving at 12, one batting over 309. Yeah, I mean, it's also just part of the supporting cast. Valentin deep to left, and there's another RBI. That ball's out of here. John Valentin jumps on Bill Hands here in the second. Third home run of the playoffs, and it is 5-0 Red Sox in Game 5. Valentin tees off, and Boston looking to put the finishing touches on this World Series early here in Game 5. Pitch from Hands, down in the zone, but Valentin tees off on it. Deep into the seats and left. And here's Rick Farrell. Farrell batting .526, 10 for 19 since coming in and replacing Jason Varitek in the late in the LCS. No homers, 3 RBIs. Slider swung on and missed. Gotta see, the Cubs are going to get bullpen action up here. It's an elimination game. I mean, it happened like a lightning bolt in the first. I get that. But now that he's allowed to run here in the second, gotta think the Cubs are going to get bullpen action going quickly. Fastball at the knees has it 1-2. Bernie Strom joins, still early, but looking good for the Sox with Pedro. Yeah, the Cubs left second and third on in the bottom of the first. Fly ball out there to left. Pasco puts it away for the first out.
Now batting, number 2.
Cubs put their hands on, relying on Hands. I mean, Hands has been terrific in the postseason. The Cubs didn't really have a choice here. The fact that Bill Hutchison got obliterated in 2 playoff starts really hurt Chicago here, because they just had no choice. They brought Fergie back on 3 days rest for Game 4. They had to go with Hands on 3 days rest for Game 5. They then would have had to go to Warnecki on 3 days rest in Game 6, and then ask Fergie to do it again in a Game 7. So I mean, the Cubs just had a lot of issues to try. You know, once they dropped Game 4, you know, they went down 3-1 in this series, and that's just a very, very rough spot for them to be in at this point. Although Hutchison would probably be the first man up here in this one out of the pen. 3-1 the count there. Hands works to Ellsbury, who reached on an infield single. Ground ball here to short. Ranging, Dallin, nice play, throw to first, gets him 2 down. Ted Williams had an RBI single in the first. Reggie Smith a 3-run homer. Put Boston up 4-0. Here's Mookie Betts. Betts singled and scored in that first inning. 6 RBIs in the series for Mookie, who was only hitting .250. He had the big 3-run homer in Game 4. Hands delivers. Betts pulled it down. Leaving those runners stranded in the bottom of the first really hurt the Cubs here too, at the risk of stating the obvious there. Just to get nothing out of that. You know, Boston puts up that 4 spot. If you're the Cubs and you always get a run in that bottom of the first, let alone 2, you feel like you're right in the game. But you leave those guys stranded, come out of it with nothing. Just kind of gives you the feeling that it's not going to be the Cubs' night. Ground ball, smacked down to first. Cavaretta plays it on the hop, takes it to the bag, and the side is retired. But Valentin goes deep to extend the lead for the Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the second here at Wrigley. 5-0 Boston. Here's Andy Pafko, 278, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. I want to see something, because he's DH the game after Hack got injured. The game never said. Well, they brought Woody English in to be the designated hitter the rest of the way in this one. All right. Wind blowing out here at Wrigley. Here in Game 5, Cubs hope they can get a couple up into the jet stream. First pitch, chopper to third. Collins has it. Throws to first. There's one away. Pedro threw 23 pitches in the first. He'd love to kind of get his way through this second inning fairly easily. Cavaretta, 241, no homers, 5 RBI. Pedro deals. Cavaretta takes outside for ball 1. Okay, Pedro was buying that call. Dwayne says to beat a dead horse. Line score says it all. 5 runs on 5 hits. Yeah, the Sox making every hit count for sure. Circle change, misses down low. Shot the other way. There's a hit down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases for Cavaretta. Williams digs it out. Gets the throw in, but it's a 1-out double for Phil Cavaretta, and the Cubs have a runner in scoring position. Poor Horse. Yeah, Horse taking a beat, but it's all valid. It's all valid points. And I love that stuff. You guys talk stat stuff and things like that in the chat. That's good stuff. Chopped down to third by Dallin. Collins throws across the diamond for the second out. Cavaretta holds at second.
Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 15.
And now here's Darwin Barney. The Cubs electing to go back to the defense-minded second baseman, hoping for a low-scoring game in this one. Barney's still looking for his first hit of the playoffs. Pedro deals. Barney fouls it off. Feel bad for Bill Hands here. He has thrown a couple of huge spot gems for the Cubs during this playoff run. But the Red Sox pounced on him right from the jump here in Game 5. 0-2 pitch from Pedro, curveball, slider rather. Barney smacked it down. Oh, 2 pitch, swung on and missed. Slider whiffs him, and the side is retired. So the Cubs, down 5-0, have left 3 runners in scoring position over the first 2 innings. We head to the top of the 3rd. 5-0 Red Sox looking to clinch their first World Series championship. Here is Ted Williams. Hands is going to get to start the 3rd here. I am going to see, though. Yeah, the game is really bad in this kind of a situation. I'm not necessarily going to make the move, but if you're the Cubs, you're down 5-0 in an elimination game. You've got to have guys warming up at this point. You just have to kind of jump on that a little bit, warm those guys up. Williams had an RBI single his first time up. Fastball misses outside. It's 1-0. Slider misses inside. 2-0. Ball there is on the inside corner. There you see Hutchison and Russell throwing in the Cubs bullpen. I think the leash here on Bill Hands is going to be very short. Good slider there. Williams swings and misses, and the count goes to 2-2. Quite possibly the final game of year 4 of the FSBL. Williams fouled this one off, and the count will hold. Two-two pitch. Low fastball. Williams protecting, fouls off another one. Hands, rocks, and fires. Popped up in foul ground. Santo underneath it. Puts it away for out number 1.
Now batting, designated hitter, Reggie.
So that'll bring up Reggie Smith. Smith, the big blow in this one. A 3-run shot in the first. Turned a 1-0 game into a 4-0 game. And the Sox were off and running. Fastball there at the knees for strike 1. Breaking ball popped up on the infield. Cavaretta looks like he'll take charge. Behind the mound, puts it away, and there's 2 down.
The batter, the third baseman, Jimmy.
So that'll bring up Jimmy Collins. Collins 0 for 1, grounded out in the first. Hands delivers. This is down low. Fireworks are finally lit up near me, so my dog isn't going psycho anymore. Fastball misses down and away. It's 2-0. Hands rocked and fires. Misses inside. 3-0. Bobby Doerr waits on deck. Hands delivers. 3-0 swinging. Collins singles into left. So Collins gets the green light. 3-0. Either that or he disregarded the red light and lines a 2-out single. So that will bring up Bobby Doerr. Doerr is 0 for 1. Hands delivers. Ground ball to third. Santo has it. Throws over to first. And the throw is low. So Santo's low throw can't be handled by Cavaretta. And it's going to be an error on Ron Santo. Routine play. Santo kind of took it easy on the throw, short-armed it a little bit, and he short-hops Cavaretta. And that's going to be it. Cubs go to the bullpen here. Phil Hands' day is done. An error on Santo, and it's just kind of going that way here for the Cubs. Santo, who has been so good both at the plate and in the field throughout the postseason. And Big Daddy Rick Russell gets the call. Russell making his third appearance of the playoffs. He's worked 7 innings, no record, a 5.14 ERA. Put up an even 4 ERA during the regular season as the 5th starter on this Cubs roster. Now here's Buck Freeman looking to put this one out of reach. Lines a base hit in the center. Lang comes up throwing, runner being waved around. There will be no play at the plate. It's an RBI single for Buck Freeman, and the Sox extend the lead. It's 6-0 Boston. So Russell comes in and is greeted rudely by Buck Freeman. And the Sox just feeling it at the moment. Here's Valentin. Valentin homered his last time up. Ground ball right side, diving stop. Nice play by Barney. Takes a hit away and saves a run. But again, the Red Sox pick up another. They show Darwin Barney in a Red Sox uniform. He's looking to get the trade and maybe get the ring, I guess. Bottom of the third here in Game 5. It is all Boston. So the order turns over for the Cubs. Here's Bill Lang. Lang, who was so productive in that division series upset of the San Francisco Giants, is 2 for 17 here in the World Series. 0 for 1 here tonight. Slider misses away, 1-1. Why do I have memorized maybe next year? Poor Carlos. I mean, listen, for the Cubs to have even gotten to this point this year, again, they, the worst record ever to make an FSBL postseason. They won their division with only 82 wins. But they took down the 3-time National League pennant winners and the back-to-back World Series champions in the Giants. Then they take the Dodgers down and their vaunted pitching staff. Slider there. Lang swings and misses. Second strikeout for Pedro. There's one away here in the bottom of the third. I mean, this has just been a great run by the Cubs, but right now, the Red Sox just not making mistakes. The Cubs just can't get the clutch moment that they've had so many of during this run. Here's Woody English. English is in the game because Stan Hack left with an injury after going in hard on a takeout slide at second base on a ground out from Santo in the first. Hack left with a back injury. Woody English comes on to try to get the job done in his stead. Pops this one up shallow right center, kind of out of no man's land, but Doerr makes the play for out number 2. Carlos, if they've had a great run here, Dwayne, if that's one reason this was such a great series with the history of the franchise. Oh, definitely. It's funny, and I said the other day, and as Santos steps in, grounded out his first time up. Obviously this is the rematch of 1918, and I think it was Beatles who mentioned the other day in the chat, talking about that point and that history, making this such a good matchup. And I went to check if there was anybody on these two rosters who was actually in that 1918 World Series, and Carl Mays for the Red Sox pitched in that series. But I believe he is the lone representative. Harry Hooper, I think, was on that team also, but Hooper was left off the postseason roster. 0-2. Here's Pedro, works to Santo. Fastball. Santo fouls it off. Farrell sets up inside. Pedro, top of the zone, doesn't get the call. 1-2 the count. Curveball spikes that one, the old 59-footer, and it's 2-2. Pedro deals. Santo up the middle. Pedro ducks out of the way. Valentin makes the play, but the throw pulls him off the bag. And that's going to be an error on John Valentin. Chopper back up the middle. Pedro gets out of dodge. Valentin makes the play, but his throw pulls Freeman off the bag, and Santo is on. After the error, 2-out base runner. Here's Bill Nicholson. Slider from Pedro doesn't slide. It stays away. It's 1-0. Nicholson doubled his first time up. Pedro deals. Circle change is in there. It's 1-1. 41 homer rookie campaign for Bill Nicholson. Ground ball hard to second, but right to Door, who flips to Valentin for the force. And the side is retired. We're a third of the way through here in Game 5. It has been all Red Sox, 6-0 as we head to the 4th. Here's Farrell. He is 0 for 1. What a story out of nowhere this guy has been. Backup catcher for Boston. 10 for 20 in the postseason. He's the backup no more, at least not in this season. Russell ahead of him quickly, 0-2. Wayne says both franchises hope your league doesn't repeat history. 80 years later, they win one. If I get through 80 seasons of this, we'll have a... I will nominate myself for the Sports Sim Hall of Fame. Popped up there. Ball bounces in front of Barney, but he pounces on it. Throws the first for the out. There's one away.
Now batting, number 2.
Order turns over. Here's Ellsbury. He's 1 for 2. Russell deals. Sinker down low. Slider there, misses down and in. 2-0 the count. Curveball from Russell, misses. 3-0. Rick Russell trying to keep this from getting any worse for the Cubs and give them a chance to scratch back. Fastball is a ball strike. 3-1 offering from Russell. Sinker at the knees, and the count goes full. Mookie Betts waits on deck. Ground ball to second. Barney has it. Throws to first, and there's 2 away. Wayne says The good thing for Boston, there's no Babe to get rid of in their league. That is true. That is true. Here's Mookie Betts. 1 for 2, single and a run scored. And it's funny talking about players, who's in, coming in, going, etc. The Red Sox can pull this off and win the World Series. Remember, Boston adds Roger Clemens next year for year 5. So to have the Clemens, Pedro, Cy Young top 3 in the rotation, Boston is going to be sitting in a very, very good spot. Three and 0 the count. Russell Fields. Fastball misses away, and Betts draws the 2-out walk. Cubs editions. I've got to check the Cubs editions. I don't remember that the Cubs. They don't add any of the really big guys. No Banks, no Williams, no Sandberg. I'm trying to remember who the Cubs editions actually for year 5 would be. See if I can kind of come across it here at some point. Two and 0 the count as Russell works to Williams. Williams fouls off the sinker. Williams put this one out to center and deep. Lang is back. He is at the wall against the ivy, puts it away, and the side is retired. Williams almost put an exclamation point on this one, but Lang tracks it down. We head to the bottom of the 4th. If the Cubs are going to start something, they've got to start it now. 6-0 Red Sox.
Leading off for the Cubs, the catcher, Gabby Hartnett.
Gabby Hartnett will start things off here for Chicago. First pitch fastball. Ooh, looked good. Call the ball. It's 1-0. Slider there gets it to 1-1. Fastball rides inside. Hartnett swings and misses, and the count goes to 1-2. Swung on and missed. Circle change, dives down and in for the strikeout. Third whiff for Martinez, and there's one away.
Now batting, number 52.
That'll bring up Andy Pafko. One misses, it's 1-0. Martinez deals. Fastball fouled off, it's 1-1. Fastball misses down low. 2-1 the count. Martinez deals. This is inside. 3-0. Joe Cavaretto waits on deck for the Cubbies. 3-1 pitch from Pedro. Fastball off the plate for ball 4. So 1 out, 1 on. Here's Cavaretto. He's doubled his first time up. Fastball off the plate. It's 1-0. Martinez Stares in. 1-0 pitch. This is inside, 2-0. Martinez deals. Ground ball down to first. Freeman has it. Throws to short for one. Back to first. 3-6-3. Double play, and the side is retired. So the Cubs turned aside here in the fourth. The double play ends the inning. We'll head to the fifth here at Wrigley. It's 6-0 Red Sox closing in on a World Series title. Top of the fifth, here's Reggie Smith. The 3-run homer in the first jump-started everything here for the Red Sox. Rick Russell going into his third inning of relief after Bill Hands didn't last long. And Hands deserves kind of a better fate than that, given how clutch he's been throughout the playoffs here. The Red Sox had his number today. Smith fouls that one off. It's 1-1. Fastball misses down low. 2-1 the count. 3-1 the count. Jimmy Collins waits on deck. Sinker on the inside corner. It's 3-2. Smith tattoos that one, but foul. Gets out in front of it. Full count offering from Russell. Smacked foul. Count offering again. Smith fouls off another. 8 pitches so far this at bat. Smith, fly ball out to left center, slicing away. Lang going back, has a beat on it, puts it away for the first out. So that'll bring up Jimmy Collins. Collins 1 for 2, single and a run scored, 3 for 8, a double and an RBI. Yeah, series MVP would actually be a bit weird for the Red Sox in this one. It's funny. Betts actually might be in contention for it just because the RBI total. I mean, he's driven in 6 runs in the series. You know, Collins actually sat for a couple of games. Devers was playing. I mean, Collins has had a sensational... Collins could theoretically win postseason MVP without winning the series MVP. I don't think he will. But, I mean, the huge homer against the A's, the huge homer in the game against the Twins. You know, 2 huge pinch hit, 3-run blasts from Collins. Fly ball out to left. Half goes underneath it, puts it away, and the side is retired. So Rick Russell doing a nice job out of the pen for the Cubs. They just need the bats to get going. So, and what Carlos had asked before, I was actually able to find the list for the Cubs adding next year. Cubs actually get a decent draft next year. Carlos Zambrano will join the Cubs. He figures he'll fit into this rotation pretty much from the start, I would think. And Larry Corcoran, an old-time starting pitcher for the Cubs, will join too. So that's actually a pretty good addition from both of those guys. That's 2 really good starters. They'll also add Jody Davis into the catching mix. He won't overtake Hartnett, but figure Davis will get some playing time. He could also provide an opportunity for Hartnett maybe to DH a little bit. Always liked Jody Davis. He used to beat the snot out of the Mets. I always liked Davis as a catcher. So the Cubs will have some help coming too. Darwin Barney fouls this one off. It's 2-1. The 2-1 pitch here from Pedro. Barney fouls it off. Slider there is pulled foul. Jody was from Georgia. That's right. Braves didn't take him. Smack down to first. Freeman has it. Takes it to the bag for the second out. Pedro has not been overpowering in this one, but he's getting the job done. 2 away. Here's Bill Lang. Lang is 0 for 2. Remember, the Cubs were down 4-0 after the top of the first. They got second and third in the bottom of the first, but left the runners stranded. They stranded another runner in scoring position in the second. Since then, hasn't been much. Popped up shallow left field. Valentin underneath it. Waves everybody off, and the side is retired. So we're through 5 in Game 5. 12 outs away from a World Series for the Red Sox. 6-0 as we head to the 6th.
Leading off for Boston, the first baseman.
Here's Buck Freeman, 1 for 2. He had an RBI single his last time. Rick Russell will stay in. Russell has done a terrific job out of the bullpen here for Chicago. Freeman ground ball past the shift. The seeing eye hit into right field. It's a leadoff single for Freeman.
The batter, number 13, shortstop,
Cavaretta dove, Barney dove, neither came up with it. Here's Valentin, he's 1 for 2. Sinker in for a called strike. Valentin 6 for 14 in the series. Ground ball down to first. Cavaretta throws to second. On the first, 3-6-3 double play. Nicely started by Cavaretta, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Valentin chops this one down to first. Cavaretta sets and throws. Nice turn from Dallin on the return. Here's Rick Farrell. Farrell is 0 for 2. Carlos says, if I recall, Rick Russell's brother Paul was a good golfer in the throwing. Interesting. I knew Paul Russell played. I didn't know he was at that level. Ground ball to Santo through the 6th. So, Russell has calmed things down a bit, but the Cubs sitting on 2 hits as we get to the bottom of the 6th against Pedro Martinez. Here's Woody English. English is 0 for 1. Again, English did not start this game. He came in after Stan Hack left with a back injury in the first. Fastball swung on and missed. Pedro is ahead of English quickly here. 0-2 offering. Fastball misses inside. One and 2 in the count. Martinez deals. Slider away. It's 2-2. Fastball swung on and missed. Down goes English. 4th strikeout for Pedro, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Ron Santos. Santo is 0 for 2. Fastball misses inside. Up the middle, base hit. So a single for Santo, a one-out base runner. Third hit for the Cubs. That pitch was down. That wasn't a bad pitch by Pedro. Santo just went down and got it. Here's Bill Nicholson. Nicholson is 1 for 2. Fastball fouled off. Nicholson doubled back in the first. Pedro at 80 pitches. Fastball misses down low. 1-1 the count. Martinez deals, circle, change. Nicholson swings and misses, and it's 1-2. Pedro's starting to get that ball to dance a little more. One-two offering. High fastball. Nicholson fouls it off. One-two pitch here from Martinez. Change up, misses down and away. 2-2. Martinez from the set delivers. Nicholson, high fly ball to left center. That's hit pretty well. Going back, Ellsbury at the wall as he hits the wall and he makes the play. Oh, terrific grab, Jacoby Ellsbury to rob Bill Nicholson of extra bases. Runner retreats to first, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Nice play there from Jacoby Ellsbury. We'll take a look at that one again. That merits another look. Nicholson hits a slicer towards the gap. Ellsbury, a long, long run. Smacks into the wall and makes the play. Nicely done by Jacoby Ellsbury there. So 2 down. Here's Hartnett. Hartnett's 0 for 2. Nathaniel, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Fastball swung on and missed. Bernie's starting to look like things going Red Sox way. Yeah, they have, to come up with a good defensive play. I mean, Russell's calmed them down, but it's okay to be calmed down when you're up 6-0. Ground ball through the right side. There's a base hit. So perhaps Pedro starting to get a little bit taxed here. 87 pitches from Martinez. Hartnett singles in the right. Now, the Red Sox bullpen has been sensational, pretty much with the exception of Wade Davis. Here's Pafko. He's 0 for 1. Curveball there, fouled off. Sox will look to get Pedro through this 6th. If it was me, I would still, if he gets Pafko here, I would still start him in the 7th. But I'm not sure the Sox will. As we established in Game 1, a little bit quick with the hook on the Boston side of things. 1-1 pitch. Martinez paints the corner with a fastball there. It's 1-2. Here's the pitch from Martinez. Pafko deep to left field, and the Cubs have a sign of life. 3-run homer, Andy Pafko. It's 6-3 Red Sox. The Cubs cut the deficit in half. Pafko goes yard, and suddenly the Chicago Cubs have a sign of life. And boy, did they need that shot. Looked like a breaking ball from Martinez up in the zone, and Pafko puts it out on the wavelength. He got all of that. Didn't quite reach wavelength. It's into the seats. So now here's Cavaretta. It's suddenly a 6-3 ball game. Cavaretta laces one to left. but Williams makes the play. And the side is retired. Uniform glitch aside. Pafko homers for the Cubs, not the Red Sox. We head to the 7th, and suddenly we've got a ball game again. 6-3 Red Sox. Russell will stay in. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury 1 for 3, singled and scored. Fly ball to center. Lang underneath it. Puts it away for out number 1.
The batter, number 50.
Here's Betts, 1 for 2, single and a run scored. Want to make sure that the Sox at least have action going down. Bottom to the top, righties. All right, well, it's not going to put Wade Davis. It's going to warm up low, and I'll let Parnell warm up for now. Parnell may switch to Bergmeyer, but for now. Just want to make sure they have somebody. If the game decides to let Pedro start the 7th, I'll let Pedro start the 7th, but I probably won't allow him more than a base runner. And now that we're in the 7th, I'll start kind of interjecting a little bit. So you want to possibly try to let Pedro see this through. That's fine, but now that it's a 3-run ball game again, and as good as the Red Sox bullpen has been, I don't think I would give Pedro more than a base runner. But I won't pull him to start the inning if the game does. 0-2. Low-key, Rick Russell has done a sensational job out of the bullpen. Pops this one up in foul ground. Santo underneath it, puts it away for the 2nd out. Legends is no crazy little. No, sir. No, sir. Again, especially as good as the Sox bullpen has been, I mean, really, like I said, with the exception of Wade Davis, the Red Sox bullpen has been sensational throughout the postseason. Here's Williams, 1 for 3. Single and an RBI, also scored a run. Wayne says the bullpen reaction drives me crazy. Nowadays, you're losing a series 3-1, and you're acting all crazy there. I'll give that, I agree. I'll give it to him a little bit in this one because you think that your season is done. Well, Ted Williams says, don't get excited, Cubs fans. Dead center, and Williams hits an absolute bomb. 4th home run of the playoffs for Ted Williams, and that is a no-doubter to the deepest part of the yard, putting the brakes on the Cubs rally. Williams goes deep, 7-3 Red Sox. First blemish on Rick Russell, and it is a blemish of 400 some odd feet. Curveball there, and Williams knew it off the bat. Look where this thing lands. Good grief. .441 off the bat of Ted Williams. 7-3 Sox. Fastball misses up and in. That Williams guy could be a player someday. Yeah, no joke. Again, Williams only hit 300 or 305. It was the lowest mark that he's had in the FSBL this year. But he did hit 40 homers for the first time. Chopper there from Smith to Cavaretta, takes it to the bag himself. And the side is retired. But Ted Williams hits a monster shot to give the Red Sox the momentum back. 7th inning stretch time here at Wrigley in a possible clinching Game 5 for the Red Sox. It's 7-3 Boston.
Your attention, please.
And that's it.
Now,
Oh, Davis, even in a 4-run game, you're not messing around here. You've got a chance to put this series away. You're not letting Davis pitch this. I don't know if it'll let me take, since he hasn't thrown a pitch yet, usually it will let you do it. I'm going to veto that one. Yep, it'll let me do it. Okay, so Derek Lowe is going to be the man who gets called on here. Lowe 0-1, a 1.59 ERA over 5 playoff appearances. Lowe will do the 6th. Some combination of Uehara and or Bergmeyer. I should say Lowe will do the 7th. Some combination of Uehara and Bergmeyer would probably do the 8th, and then Papelbon would come on for the close. But here's bad Bill Dowling. He is 0 for 2. Fastball in for a called strike. El Parnell still out there throwing for Boston. You're away from needing somebody against a lefty anyway, especially now that Hack is out of line. You don't need a lefty until you get to Nicholson. So you got a little bit of time left before that. Parnell had one terrible outing in the postseason. Other than that, Parnell's been solid too. 0-2 as Lowe works to Dowling. Slider, oh boy. Generous call for Lowe. Down and away. They call that one a strike, and Dowling goes down looking. Well, that's kind of the way it is for the Cubs right now. I'm a little slow on the uptake there. So this is taken. All right. Or even fouled off. Darwin Barney should not get this at bat. Cubs need offense at this point. So we'll do a little willing suspension of disbelief here. We'll get Barney out of this game. And Leon Durham will be the batter. Durham looking for his first hit off the bench. And the Cubs bench has not done anything in this postseason. 0-1 as Lowe works to Durham. Line shot in the center, and Leon Bull Durham has a one-out base hit for Chicago. So Durham comes through with the pinch hit single. The Cubs try to cling to any sign of life they can come up with. Todd B., how are you? I'm sorry, I missed you come in there the first time. Here's Bill Lang. Lang is 0 for 3. He popped out back in the 5th. Bernie says Williams won the career Triple Crown between 1930 and 1960. He had more homers, RBIs, and the highest average of anyone in those years. Yeah, he was pretty good. Terrific player. And as Carlos Lewis lost years to the war, too. Todd, maybe legends to bring in new umpires. I do wish, I love the variable umpire aspect of it, but I do wish it was implemented a little different than it is. It's kind of like it's got the guys coded, but like if one guy is the home plate umpire, like you'll always get the inside strike and you'll get squeezed on the outside or something like that. Like there's not a variation. There's not, like it feels like it could be implemented with a little bit more nuance than how it's done. Like, it's good, but it could be better. And it also feels like the variable umpire, there's never a variable umpire where the variation is that he's excellent. Like, he doesn't really miss them. And it's like sometimes, that should be the case, too. Where it's not, oh, gee, there's a section of the zone that's getting squeezed all game. Sometimes he should just be really good. Ground ball there, there's a base hit in the hole into left field. And again, this is back in the show 22, so that may have changed over the last few iterations of the game. Lang singles into left, so now the Cubs trying to get something going here. Woody English, I just don't know if they have a better pinch hit option. You're now 2 batters away from Nicholson. Parnell hasn't been bad, but I just still feel like Bergmeyer has basically been perfect. So we're going to get Bergmeyer throwing up there, and just in case this gets down to Nicholson. Uehara has started throwing. So 1 out, 2 on. The Cubs just don't have a great bench here. Walt Morin is really a backup to a backup. he and Happ. Happ has not had a good postseason. But I still don't think Woody English is necessarily your guy here. We're going to give Happ the at-bat. I'll tell you, this is a spot, though, it really hurts the injury to Stan Hack. Again, Hack started the game at DH, left with a back injury after a takeout slide in the first inning. English came on, and now Happ is going to pinch hit for Woody English here. 1 out, 2 on, bottom of the 7th. Fastball from Derek Lowe is in for a called strike. Bernie notes in 2004, Lowe won all 3 playoff Game 7s. Yes, he did. At his peak, Lowe was very, very solid. Fastball there on the inside corner. It's 0-2. Lowe certainly won't balk at a strikeout. He would love a nice ground ball here. Go for the old twin killing. 0-2 the count. Ron Santo waits on deck for the Cubs. That's why Lowe would probably prefer the ground ball here to the strikeout. Santo has been the Cubs' best hitter. 1-2 pitch. Happ swings and misses at the changeup from Lowe. Second strikeout for Lowe. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Oh, they want to go to Parnell here.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Boston.
Again, Parnell's been fine, but why would you bring Parnell in for Santo? Unfortunately, I can't. The problem here now is if I decide to override this, like I've already overridden Wade Davis, if I override this and put Uehara in for Parnell, I then burn a second reliever there. That's a weird move, though. Although Santo actually has the slightly reversed splits, that's true. But even so. But again, I don't want to waste a second reliever there. Well, especially because it's the bottom of the 7th. You still got 2 innings left here. I'm gonna let them do it.
17.
I don't love it, but I'm gonna let them do it. Just because, again, I don't want to burn a second reliever who never even gets to appear. So a little bit of a suspect call here. Again, Parnell had 1 bad playoff appearance early in the postseason. Other than that, he's been really good. He starts off Santo with a slider there. Oh, and 1 the count. Parnell rides inside with the slider there to Santo. And Bergmeyer pitched yesterday too, but I would still use Bergmeyer in the 8th against Nicholson if Parnell is able to get Santo here. Two and 1 the count. No, Parnell checks the runner. Slider misses away, 3-1. Bill Nicholson waits on deck. The Cubs trying to mount what would be a remarkable comeback, but it's not going to happen there. Popped into foul ground. Freeman puts it away. Santo can't come through. Parnell gets the Sox out of it. And we head to the 8th. 7-3 Red Sox, 6 outs away from a World Series title.
Your attention, please.
So Javi Baez will come into play second for the Cubbies here. Russell will stay in. The Ted Williams homer aside, I mean, Russell has still been great. So I don't feel a need to take Russell out from the Cubs' perspective. Here's Jimmy Collins. They do have bullpen action going. So if Russell does get into trouble again, it would be an easy switch. Collins out into right, base hit. So Jimmy Collins goes the other way with a leadoff single to open up the top of the 8th inning.
The batter number 1, second baseman.
Not for a rooting interest side, but I'm kind of glad that worked out with the Parnell thing, because I didn't love that move. And if I hadn't already overridden the Wade Davis move, I probably would have overridden the Parnell move too. But with 2 innings left and it in danger of possibly becoming a close game, I didn't want to, because if I do override that, then can't use that guy. It's not like he goes back. He just basically gets phased out of the game, which is a little bit of a glitch in terms of how the game works. But again, it's also not built to work the way I'm working it. For a human to jump into a CPU game and make those kind of roster moves. So I don't really fault it for that. But as Buck Freeman steps in here with 1 out and 1 on. But Parnell is not the guy I would have brought in that spot. I wouldn't have taken Lowe out yet. I just would have let Lowe work DeSanto. And then if it got to Nicholson, brought Bergmeyer in for the lefty-lefty matchup. Larry French, the lefty. Felix Rodriguez, the righty, throwing in the Cubs bullpen. Freeman is 2 for 3. Freeman pops this one up and foul ground. Cavaretta giving chase. He's got room. Puts it away for the second out. That one really hurt, though, for the Cubbies. Even if Santo comes through with a single there and gets another run in. Again, you keep it within 3, you kind of feel like, all right, we can do something. John Valentin did something back in the second. Put that one deep into the ninth here at Wrigley. Valentin 1 for 3. 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. 7-3 Red Sox, 6 outs away from a World Series title. Fastball is in for a called strike. Valentin hits this one well. Out to right center. That's carrying. Lang giving chase. It's at the wall and it's out of here. Second home run of the game for John Valentin. And that might be it. Valentin goes deep into the seats in right center. It is 9-3 Red Sox here in the top of the 8th. Second home run of the game for John Valentin. The wind blowing out. The wind may have helped that one a little bit. But nobody cares about the weather report. They care about the score. 9-3 Red Sox. That's it for Russell. Here's Felix Rodriguez. Rodriguez making his 8th postseason appearance. A 1.5 ERA. He'll face Rick Farrell. So Russell did a terrific job. As Farrell singles here into left. I'll tell you, Farrell coming into this series has just completely just been an absolute stud. Varitek went cold. They started playing Farrell, and all he's done is hit 500 for the series. So now here's Ellsbury. Ellsbury's 1 for 4. Fastball at the knees for strike 1. It figures to be either Uehara or Bergmeyer for the Sox on the mound in the bottom of the 8th, but they are in a comfortable zone right now. 9-3 Boston. That Valentin homer was huge. The difference between 4 and 6 runs feels like a massive jump. 0-2 pitch. Ellsbury lays off the fastball up high. Todd B says, turn out the lights. Carlos, my 2 favorite franchises made it to the World Series. Can't complain. Great run for the Cubs. It has been. It's been fun. I think it was funny. So when in the division series, all 4 series were upsets, and you ended up with the matchups that we did, I was like, all 4 of those would have been really fun. Like a Dodgers-Red Sox matchup would have been a lot of fun. And the one that you wouldn't have really thought of, but I think would have been a fantastic, fun matchup just because of the way the end of the season happened. It's Cavaretta. Boots won there, and it kind of feels like it's just falling apart here for the Cubbies here. That's a routine play. Cavaretta can't handle it. But the Twins-Cubs matchup would have been really fun, just because there were so many similarities in their runs. Dodgers-Twins would have been a fun one also. So it really, would have been just, any of the matchups would have been good. But this one was probably the most intriguing just because of 1918 and the histories and all that. 1-0 to Betts, who's 1 for 3. Todd says, Dwayne says the lights have been off since the first inning. Bernie's setting up the champagne in Vegas, and to forget about that Cleveland loss. Yeah, that's true. That is one that the Sox will be able to kind of get out of their craw here. The Sox as a team, and Pedro in particular. I mean, I know he ended up giving up the 3-run shot here. Lang ranges at a gap. Nice play by Bill Lang. Although it doesn't really feel like much at this point. The 2-run homer from John Valentin, his second of the game, extends the Red Sox lead. Bottom of the 8th, 6 more outs for Boston. They lead at 9-3. And Mel Parnell is going to stay in. At this point, no reason to take him out in the 6-run ball game. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah, blowing that 10-run game. I've been really, really fortunate in this project. I say it often, just about how it has played out and the great games and all that stuff that I've had. But that game is still the best game in FSBL and frankly in Legend Sports Universe history. Though it didn't feel like it for a Red Sox fan, I know. But just that game had everything. It was like the whole vibe in the chat and people living and dying with that game was just, it's so much fun. Everything that starting a project like this I could have asked for was kind of wrapped in that game. That's a huge compliment, Todd. I appreciate that. Thank you. Every year of this project has had great narrative, and this project is now in that sweet spot too. Like you're 4 years in, so there's not just the individual season narratives, but there's like the whole franchise mode narrative, things that have taken place over multiple years and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of those for different teams and different players too. Wayne's Braves can pitch. They hadn't been able to hit. They were finally able to hit this year, but they still can't get over that playoff hump. They still can't get past the Dodgers. They've now been bounced by the Dodgers in the wild card game 2 years in a row. Like, do the Braves make that next step? The Cardinals still have not had Gibson and Dean both good in the same, both not just good, but to Gibson and Dean capability in the same season. Because I still feel like the Cardinals have as much talent as anybody in the National League in this project right now. That one has popped up the door, and there's 2 away quickly here in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees had made a step ahead each season. But that got halted this year by the Twins taking the Yankees out. But the Yankees are always going to be there, and the Yankees still don't have so many of their greats. They still don't have the triad in the outfield. They don't have Ruth, they don't have DiMaggio, they don't have Mantle. The Yankees are now just stockpiling catchers. It'll be interesting to see if the AI has the Yankees make a trade. Because they drafted Berra last year. They're going to add Thurman Munson next year. They've had Posada and poor Elston Howard, who's just rotting away in the minors for the Yankees. Lots of teams in this project could use Elston Howard. So we'll see if the game makes some kind of a deal there. But, the Yankees are going to be around. The Oakland A's, who have the best regular season record every year, You know, it's fine that the A's have made 2 World Series, but they've had the best record for 4 years, and they've won 1 title. You know, so do the A's start getting some criticism as there's a 1 hopper there to second, Door makes the play, and the side is retired. This 9-3 Red Sox. The lights turning out here on a terrific Chicago Cubs postseason run.
Your attention, please.
Larry French will come in for his 5th postseason appearance.
Number 15, Larry.
He has not allowed a run yet. He will face the heart of this Boston order, starting with Ted Williams. Williams 2 for 4, a single and a mammoth home run his last time up. Well, that's what I was getting to there, Dwayne. As a color analyst, we'll do that. We'll do a color analyst thing at some point. It's funny, we've talked about it for ages. To have Slovic and I, you know, if we can ever work our schedules out right, we'll do a broadcast together. But yeah, I would certainly be up for having somebody else in the booth. Williams laces another one, a 3-hit Game 5 for Ted Williams. Feeling good, the splendid Splinter. But yeah, what Dwayne says, you know, if the A's regular season record is helped by that division, it's starting to show in the playoffs. And it's weird because, I mean, that A's roster is great. It really is. But, you know, it just hasn't. Of course, the only team to knock them out on the American League side is the Red Sox, because in year 2, the Red Sox were the team to bounce the A's also. So as long as the A's haven't had to play Boston, they make the World Series. But the Sox have kind of been their kryptonite, you know. So it's you know, but yeah, the A's, I mean, will certainly, despite the obvious talent on that roster as Smith goes down looking, they'll certainly start getting some criticism for you know, for not being able to get it. Can the Phillies get past the Dodgers? The Dodgers have taken the Phillies out twice now. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And again, after the 4 years, it's just storylines kind of abound. You know, who is the next team to make that step up? You know, the Twins did it this year. The Tigers improved this year. Obviously, the Cubs making this run. But can the Cubs win that division? I can't imagine 82 wins is going to win the NL Central again next year. I don't think the Cardinals are going to have as bad a season as they had this year. There's just too much talent on that roster. There's a base hit in the left field, and it's 1st and 2nd here in the top of the 9th. David Lando checked in. Yeah, it has gone south for your guys here, David. A sensational run. But they just, you know, Bill Hands got jumped on. The guys gave up 4 runs in the first today. And just a big hill to try to climb out of. They started mounting a comeback. They got it to 6-3. And then Ted Williams hit a ball that still hasn't landed to make it 7-3. And then Valentin hit a 2-run shot, his second of the game, to kind of blow this one open. This one's driven out deep to right center field. Going back on it is Nicholson. That ball is off the base of the wall. 1 run will score. Throw comes home. Baez will eat it. It's a 2-run double. And it's 11-3 Boston. Driven out to the wall by Bobby Doerr. And the Sox emphatically putting their stamp on Game 5 here. The Cubs won Game 1. But since then, the Sox have just been on it. And the Cubs had hit 170 over the last 3 games entering this one. The offense went cold, and now really for the first time in this postseason, the Cubs pitching just not getting it done here in Game 5. Ground ball up the middle. Dowling picks it. Throws the first for the 2nd out. And Danny John tells all the Working people, they can go to bed.
John Valentine.
This Cubs squad deserves a better fate than to have this be the finale of their run, though. To have what they've done in this postseason end in a blowout loss at home, no less, is just something they deserve better than. So here's John Valentine. Valentine is probably going to win Series MVP here. 2 homers here in Game 5. Should lock that up for him. Valentine fouls this one off. You know, in talking about what we were talking about earlier about the teams that could make the jump, can you do a Reggie Jackson on the Cubbies? We'll see. We'll see. Valentine go for 3. That would certainly lock up the MVP. As far as a team that could make the jump next season, I'm not really sure. As Valentine singles into left, it's another RBI for John Valentine. Have yourself a day. And it's funny because before this game, I was like, oh, maybe you play Dobie more instead of Valentine. Give Pedro a little bit slightly better defense at short. But Valentine had swung a decent bat as of the last few games and left him in. So Larry French comes out after throwing some kerosene on Game 5. Rick Sutcliffe will come in, make his 6th postseason appearance. Sutcliffe, 3.86 ERA in the postseason. I keep waiting for the White Sox to do something. The White Sox can pitch. They haven't been able to hit a lick, though. They'll add Konerko next year, which should help them a bit. I'm going to be interested to see. I don't think they are going to bounce back in that degree, but I would be very interested to see the Expos. I'm just excited because the Expos are going to add Oscar Charleston next year. Aaron Reed, how are you? Did I walk into a slaughterhouse? Yeah, this one has gotten away from the Cubbies. Base hit into right field. And the line keeps moving here in the ninth.
Now back, number 2.
So first and second, 2 away. Order turns over. Here's Ellsbury. He's 1 for 5. Fastball misses away. It's 1-0. Wayne says if the Dodgers could start hitting, they're going to be tough to beat. Well, that's funny because the Dodgers hit well early in this season. And then as the season went on, it just kind of cooled off on them. Big for the Dodgers is going to be if they retain Dan Brothers. Because Brothers, is at the end of his allotted time there, but he's also still eligible for arbitration. I got to think the Dodgers will offer arbitration. I've got to come up with a way that's going to decide that. Because you're going to start having that situation happen. Because I only wanted guys guaranteed to stay with the team for the amount of time they played with them for real. Obviously, Brothers was back in the Brooklyn Robbins days. But, so if a guy reaches the point where he's eligible to become a free agent, but he still would be arbitration eligible in the game, I don't want to have it offer arbitration all the time, but I also want it to be able to be logical. If Ellsbury walks there, bases loaded, here's Mookie Betts. So I want to kind of come up with a way. I admittedly haven't done it yet, as far as thinking of how to decide whether a team will offer arbitration to a guy. I will probably have it high into WAR or something like that somehow. Like, a random number between, have the generator spit out a number between 1 and 10. And if it's less than his WAR was the last season, it'll offer him arbitration. And if not, it lets him walk. Something of that kind of a nature. I'm not saying that'll be it, but something of that kind of nature, just to keep it being able to, have the movement that I want while still also being intelligent. So like somebody like Brothers, who is probably 6+4 player, something like that, he'd have a better chance of the Dodgers offering him arbitration than not, which I think makes sense. The Dodgers don't really have a first baseman in the pipeline there, so if Brothers leaves, the Dodgers are going to have a hard time filling that spot. Betts fouls it off. The count goes to 2-2. I appreciate that, Aaron. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, this project is a hell of a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm really hoping that as I've got work going on right now and setting up for year 2 of the Franchise Stars Football League, Betts drops one down the right field line, but foul. I really hope I can get the Franchise Stars Football League to hum along the way this baseball project has, because I would be thrilled with that. Year 1 just had too many stops and starts, but obviously the potential is there for that project to be a hell of a lot of fun as well. Ground ball to short, and the 9th finally comes to a close. Bottom of the 9th at Wrigley. Bottom of the order coming up for the Cubs as they make a last stand in what has been a blowout here in Game 5. Parnell will stay in, because why would he? In a 9-run game. Here's Phil Cavaretta. Cavaretta's 1 for 3. You can see those seats have emptied out behind home plate. Cavaretta out in the right field, and that comeback starts now. Base hit for Phil Cavaretta. 1 hit, 10 more to go.
Number 54.
Todd, this is bordering on Joaquin Andujar territory. Yeah. Fastball swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Bill Dowling 3 for 17 in the series. He says, I hope the show does a good job without keeping him. Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, because even if he doesn't get offered arbitration, it could then sign him as a free agent. That would still be a possibility, but then he hits the market. So we'll see. We should have a few guys hit the free agent market this year. You're still a couple years away from, I think, the market really getting deep. When you get that first year crew to that 6-year point where arbitration will no longer be a factor, that's kind of when the free agency thing will really take off. Dowling tries to hold up and does. It's 1-2. Fastball misses up high. 2-2 the count. Curveball, Dowling pulls it foul. Wow, the fans really have cleared out of here. Aaron says, I'd like to see the Reds do well next season. You know what's funny? The Reds were hanging in there in that, the terrible job the NL Central did all year long this year. And the Reds were in that until like August. And good curveball there from Parnell. Dowling is frustrated. That's a nice pitch from Parnell, but Dowling is not having it. That is frustration boiling over there on Bill Dowling, and understandably so. The Reds are going to add Tony Perez next year, which will certainly help that offense out of it. The Reds can't score. But the Reds pitching was actually pretty solid this year. I feel like they're adding a decent pitcher too. But Tony Perez is the big add for the Reds next season. Javi Baez steps in here. Wayne says, does the show have a no trade clause for players? I actually don't think it does. It might in free agency, but I don't sign the free agents. But in your initial contract, Baez goes deep. Not done yet. 2-run shot, Javi Baez, and well, I won't say it makes it close, but it's 12-5 now. Baez's second home run of the series. Yeah, well, the few Cubs fans left happy to see something positive happen. Baez goes yard. Jumps on this one. Don't pimp that homer too much. He crushed that ball, though. 422 out of the park. I do just... All right, they have bullpen action. They have Uehara and Bergmeyer going. That's fine, as long as they have somebody. Going up, that's fine. Here's Bill Lang. It's 1 for 4. Fly ball to right. Carrying. Betts going back. Still going back. Puts it away for the two-handed grab. And the Cubs are down to their final out. And Tom Bergmeyer is going to come on to get the final out. This is a nod to how good Bergmeyer has been. 10 appearances. He's 2-0. He's worked 12 innings. He has allowed no runs. Bergmeyer has just been sensational for the Sox, and he is going to get the honor of wrapping this one up. Here's Ian Happ. Happ 0 for 1, struck out after coming in as a pinch hitter back in the 7th. Bergmeyer delivers. Fastball misses inside. Let's hope Scott Boras isn't in the show. Fastball there, swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Bergmeyer, fastball in the inside corner, and the Cubs are down to their final strike. A lone Red Sox fan there with the seat behind home plate. Swung on and missed. Bergmeyer fans half, and the Boston Red Sox are the champions of year 4 of the Franchise Stars Baseball League. The Red Sox take home the title. They shake the demons of the year 2 disaster against the Indians. And the Red Sox are champs here in year 4. Just a terrific job by Boston in this series. Obviously, I have to give tons of credit to the Cubs for what has just been a fantastic postseason run, an unexpected postseason run. But for now, the focus goes to the Red Sox. A jubilant Ted Williams comes in from the outfield. Williams with a ball that still hasn't landed. And there you see. Hoist the trophy, Boston. You are the champions of year 4 of the FSBL. Congrats, Bernie Strom, for your Red Sox. Going for the history one, 10th World Series championship. They're first here in the FSBL. But that's all right. Pedro gets the win. Bill Hands, and again, it's just the Bill Hands pitching line there falls right in line with the Cubs, just deserving a better fate than how this Game 5 ended. Hands was so good for the Cubs throughout this postseason, asked to come out here on short rest and get past Boston to force this series back to Fenway. And it just didn't happen. The Sox 4 runs in the first and took off from there. John Valentin, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Valentin's going to end up being the postseason leader in RBIs. That gives him 14 RBIs for the playoffs. Valentin will probably be awarded ALCS MVP. I hate that it doesn't actually, I don't think it tells you. Does it tell you that at the bottom of the box score? I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. And you don't see it like next year. I'll find out there'll be a Red Sox game, and when Valentin comes up to hit, it'll say NLCS MVP. It gives you an overall postseason MVP that you can see at the end of the season, but it only does the NLCS and like ALCS MVP things like hidden or something like that. It's kind of it's kind of silly. It does track it, but anyway, that brings year 4 to a close. It's always kind of weird when this season kind of comes to an end. It's this has been 3.5 months getting through year 4 of this, and this project this continues to be a hell of a lot of fun, and you guys in the chats and following along and all that stuff help make it so. So it is greatly appreciated. Your final line score: 12 runs, 17 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox. 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. Pafko and Baez homered for the Cubbies. Valentin hit 2. Williams and Smith homer for the Red Sox in this clincher. Checking out here, Ted can go fishing. Ted will be happy fishing. Oh, thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Congrats again there, popping that champagne there, Bernie. Thanks, Dwayne. Todd, you guys, like I said, appreciate everything for you guys supporting this project and all. I will ultimately do a end of season recap / leaders / awards show, the MVPs and Rookie of the Year and all that kind of stuff. I'll do a stream of that sometime, probably in the course of the next week or so. Coming up immediately on the channel, we'll have some boxing back on the channel. We'll go hard and heavy on that for a little bit. We're going to finish up the basketball playoffs, which are now in the conference semifinals. We're going to try to blow through that here on the channel as well. While behind the scenes, I'll be doing some football stuff, trying to get that project ready for year 2. And in addition to creating all the rookies for year 5 of the Franchise Stars Baseball League. I'm not going to give a timeline or a target on year 5 at this point, because I've still got a decent amount of work to do, but I am starting work on that, and hope to provide a bunch of content here on the channel for you guys to watch in the interim. So thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed your 4th. Thank you again for following the Franchise Stars Baseball League and the Legend Sports universe in general. For the last time here in year 4, bang that like button if you haven't as of yet. Subscribe if you haven't as of yet. And most importantly, be good to each other. And we'll talk soon. The Red Sox are the champions of the Franchise Stars Baseball League in year 4.